and welcome to the University of Law. So I've got a package here that's just arrived. So this is Doctor Who, or from the world of Doctor Who I should say. It is Dark Gallifrey, Morbius Part 1. So I'm just going to try and get my facts right. So 24, 5, 6, 7, 6, 12, 18, 20. This is episode 1 of a 24-part epic. So I'm going to unbox and go through that and my thoughts on that in just a moment. But before I do that, it did come with the April edition of Vortex, which is great because only a few days before this I got the March edition physically. So this is going through May's releases. So obviously we've got the 8th Doctor back with Liv and Helen, which we haven't seen for a while. On the reverse cover, yeah, look at that. We've got the 9th Doctor and River Song, which is extremely exciting. Some people often, wonder why you still get physical media, because it's a lot more convenient, often to get it on download. You've got the app, and personally, whenever anything comes out, I listen to it immediately on the app, so on release day, I get to listen to every Big Finish production. And obviously, you don't have to have the shelf space, etc. But for me, one of the big reasons for having physical media is I just love to own this artwork. I just think that's absolutely stunning, and we've got that for both there. So you've got a little editorial about the 9th Doctor adventures here. Nice little piece here on the 8th Doctor. We've got Jane Asher as a guest star. Got a little look back to Doctor Who Vengeance of Morbius, the 2 parts with the 8th Doctor. Obviously, I'll be able to talk about Morbius in a moment. Lovely piece here on the 9th Doctor set. I think River Song is in all 3 stories, which is fantastic, to quote the 9th Doctor, of course. Here again, it kind of reinforces the fact that the upcoming novel adaptation is a one-off. They haven't brought the range back. It is just a one-off, reiterating that. A thank you to all the amazing staff who deliver our physical products. And then this is a little piece on potentially doing some Vortex specials, but nothing confirmed. Got a piece on Torchwood. And this is quite cool, actually. This is a nice double page spread all about, in fact I think it goes on for a 3rd page, about Helen Goldwyn and the amazing work she does at Big Finish. And obviously looking ahead, we've got some action-packed month coming up, and I'll just pause there, and if you wanted to pause that video you can kind of see the schedule of what's coming up over the coming months at Big Finish. Right, so let's get Dark Gallifrey unboxed. So basically, for those of you who don't know, Dark Gallifrey is a big... it's not multi-platform, so it's not like it's going to be books and comics like Tana Victorious. It's a big Finish initiative. It's commemorating 25 years, would you believe, of Big Finish Productions. It's going to run from 2024 to 2027, I believe. There's going to be 6 releases a year, which is essentially, it's 2 stories over 3 parts. So that's 2 characters a year, 2 3-parters a year, that's 6. For 4 years, that's 6 times 4, that is 24. So it's 24 episodes, and I think you could just drop in, and yeah, so basically each trilogy is given to one writer, who basically, that one writer gets to explore a dark character from Gallifrey's rich history, be that the War Master, be that Morbius, Missy, the TV movie Master, you name it. So basically it's a character piece exploring a different character, a different villain from Dark Gallifrey, and there will be an overarching story. And interestingly, this starts with Morbius. So Morbius, played by Sam West, who originally originated the part with the 8th Doctor, as I previously mentioned. It's been a few years since he was last in, but here he is back. And what's interesting is that they've chosen to start the story way back in Gallifrey's history, back in the dark times, the early times, back in the time of Rassilon. Rassilon is alive and well in these stories, and I wonder if we might get Rassilon later on. I'm wondering if the seeds of Dark Gallifrey, because it does say, if I recall, on the back, here we go, the very first Whispers of Dark Gallifrey. So this is Tim Foley's, basically his story. It's 3 parts. and it's going through. It's basically it's the in-depth character exploration of Morbius. And what's great actually is we're seeing Morbius right back in the dark times. So we usually see characters come back from Gallifrey's past, but in this we're actually in Gallifrey's past. We're actually seeing what it's like. And the last time I remember anyone doing that, I believe, was when we had the comic strip for Time Lord Victorious with the Ninth Doctor. That was kind of it's a bit like Star Wars: The Old Republic. Really, it has that kind of it's fantasy and it's medieval in style, but at the same time it's sci-fi. So it's like a sci-fi twist on old fashioned. So yeah, it was interesting, like a pirate adventure in this. We kind of look at the origins of regeneration and what it was like for those very first Time Lords, and how other people perceived them, how the galaxy and the universe perceived them, looking at the law with the Sisterhood of Khan, how they fit in with this history. So it's a really great exploration of Doctor Who's rich lore and Gallifrey's rich lore, as well as being a piece on Morbius and a character exploration of Morbius. It's very much, I think the series is going to very much look at Gallifrey, and it's made me realise that there's very little. I know in the 90s there was lots of books and things which kind of explored Gallifrey's past, but in recent years with audio, we haven't had much of it on audio, and I think maybe because I do love the Gallifrey Time War stuff and the War Room stuff, but I do wonder whether when that's wrapped up, whether they could actually go back and do like an old Gallifrey or a young Gallifrey box set and look at the very origins or Gallifrey origins, and kind of look at some of those like Rassilon and Omega. Not them returning in the present for the Doctor, but actually looking at the origins. So yeah, this is a 3-part story that, as it explores Morbius. We will be getting Tom Baker as the fourth Doctor in the final part, and yeah, this is Tim Foley's vision and his exploration of the character. So I really enjoyed it. I have to say, I listened to it 2 or 3 times actually, because it took me a while to get what was going on actually, which usually because I kind of listen to it once and I wait for the CD to arrive. This, I will say actually, I listened to it a day late because I was busy the day it came out, and actually the day I listened to it was the day that they dispatched this, so it's been quite a quick turnaround. But I did listen to it 3 times before the CD even arrived, because there was so much kind of there that I kind of I needed to listen to it again and again and again, kind of really get what was going on. And the trailer's now dropped for part 2, and I thought it was just part 1 that was set in the past, but no, part 2 is also set in the past. So I'm interested to see how this is going to continue really, and there's a lot of threads kind of there, and yeah, I do wonder how the Dark Gallifrey arc is going to start. I think it was very much just a slow paced opening to this 24-part epic, which I actually quite liked. It is sometimes nice to start slow. Dalek's master plan starts slow. It doesn't really take off until part 2, whereas something like Doom Coalition kind of hit the ground running with the first episode. Some stories need an explosive opening, and some stories like this, we're getting the pace, we're building it. This is 24 episodes, Doom Coalition was 16, so we're really starting to build the pace, take it slowly, but at the same time I think there will be some things to look out for, maybe are not obvious now, because I think you could listen to just Morbius or just the War Master in isolation. I think it would still work. You could even just pick up 1 or 2 of the CDs and it would work. But I do think when we listen to it all back in 2027, I think this will make sense in retrospect. I do wonder whether it might end up with a Time War story with Rassilon in the Time War, kind of taking some of the threads that were beginning when he was young with Morbius and kind of taken to fruition. I think maybe Dark Gallifrey might have something to do with the final days of Gallifrey, but that's just my prediction. Just by kind of hearing Rassilon mentioned from the off start, and they haven't announced a Rassilon set yet, but it would make sense that there is a Rassilon. It would make sense him being probably one of the most infamous Time Lords gone bad. It would make, especially with him being from the show's ancient history, it would make sense for him to have the finale tie into the Time War Rangers. So that's just a prediction based on kind of the fact that they've chosen Morbius first. But yeah, it's been great to have Sam West back. And as I say, it was a nice slow opener, and that's one of criticism. I think with some stories you need, I think, to get the pace right and get the stamina right. It's definitely like that. But yeah, it's also it is just an unknown era, and it was nice to kind of get. It took me a while to adjust actually, because it was very different flavour of Doctor Who. And as I said, it was completely consistent with what we know of Ancient Gallifrey from things like the comic strip. I haven't read any of the books, but it did feel consistent with what I've experienced before. But it took a moment to adjust to it on audio, and I think that's right actually. I think they've got the tone right there if you're needing to readjust, because it is something new. So let's just finish by getting the actual package open. So we've got inside, we've got the cast list, and then we've got pictures of the cast and crew in there as well. And finally, we've got our disc, Dark Gallifrey. We've got the cover art. We've got advert for the War Room, Volume 1 and 2. We've got some lovely artwork of Morbius. We got this character who I think he's the one that they kind of find, and he's kind of got some premonitions of this island in the vortex, spoiler alert, and that's basically where we're going to be in episode 2. They find at the end of this island in the vortex, and there's something there, and I'm guessing it's something to do with Dark Gallifrey that might come back to haunt us in the big finale. We might even hear back from it again, but I think it's going to be, I think each one might have a crucial little thing in it that just feeds together, maybe with an ultimate plan from Russell, and maybe even his final sanction in the final story, but we shall see. But yeah, what did you think? Did you pick up Morbius Part 1? Any thoughts or theories? Are you buying the whole of Dark Gallifrey? Are you just buying certain characters? Are you just buying certain ones? Are you waiting to see what other people's thoughts are? Do let me know in the comments below. And if you have listened to it, what are your predictions for Part 2 and the arc as a whole? As always, don't forget to like and subscribe. I look forward to speaking to you soon.